Morning, everybody. I hope everybody's enjoying the day. So I just wanted to make a quick little video, talk about some stuff. I titled it about Massachusetts housing crisis because we live in the third most expensive region in the whole country. Boston, Massachusetts is behind only New York City, and San Francisco is like the most expensive place to live in the whole country. I think it's in the top 10, definitely in the top 25 worldwide. We live in one of the most expensive places in the entire world. It's really only been like this in the past 10, 15 years that the rent prices have gone absolutely insane. In my own city in Gloucester, Mass, 2011, I think it was, I had a one-bedroom apartment for $700. They're doing one-bedroom apartments now for $2,500. That's a 12-year span. Like, after that apartment, I had a two-bedroom apartment with my ex-girlfriend, and it was originally for $1,000, and then it went up to $1,100, and then $1,200. But basically, what I'm getting at is, for a 20-year span, apartments weren't more. It didn't matter if they were two-bedroom, three-bedroom, whatever. They weren't more than $800 to $1,000 from the late '90s all the way up until about 2010, 2012. That was the standard price. One-bedroom apartments went between $500, even like $350, $400 for kind of little crappy apartments, to $750, $800 tops for a one-bedroom. And two bedrooms, like I said, were usually in the $800 to $1,000 region. $1,000 being expensive. Usually, it was more around $800 was standard. Gloucester is like a beautiful place. It's, you can't deny the fact that Gloucester is beautiful. It's right on the ocean. Beautiful beaches. It's just, I took it for granted growing up here because when you're a kid, you don't understand that you think everywhere is the same. I thought everywhere was like Gloucester, and then when you go to places like Ohio and stuff like that, and you see people live in landlocked areas where all the houses look the same, all the streets look the same. You know what I mean? When I went to visit my friend in Columbus, Ohio, I got off the plane. He took me to the Horseshoe where the Ohio State Buckeyes play, and there was like this old security guard. He actually let us go on the field. That was pretty sick. So beyond that, though, like Columbus literally is, everything's a grid. There's like a main thoroughfare where there's all commercial stuff. There's strip malls, fast food restaurants, chain restaurants. There's no mom and pop stuff. At least in that region, there's no mom and pop stuff. It's all chains and like big name companies and stuff. So you have like the main thoroughfare where all the commercial stuff is, and then off of that you turn into these little residential neighborhoods, and they're all set up like grids. All the houses are exactly built the same, the exact same size. All the yards are the exact same size. All the streets are like going in straight lines. It's wild for somebody who grew up in a place like this where it's all narrow, windy, one-way streets. And Gloucester, there was no city planning. It just kind of like the city was like built. And most of the places in the Boston area are like that because we live in the oldest region in the country. Gloucester is celebrating its 400th anniversary this year. That's like ancient for American standards. But I'm going to talk about other things in this video too. But that's what I'm titling this video because I don't know if you can hear it coming through the wall or whatever, but they're working in an apartment across the hall from me. I was trying to record a video in my daughter's bedroom, and all you could hear was the sound of like saws and banging and sanding and stuff. And these new people bought my building, I don't know, beginning of summer, late spring, and everybody was so stressed out because the lady who owned this building is one of the last affordable buildings to live in Gloucester. Like, it was this giant building right down the boulevard, and the lady was still charging rents from like 10 years ago. Like, people have lived here. I've lived here for almost 5 years now, and I was one of the newest people. People have lived here for 25, 30 years. People have lived here forever. They're more older people too when I first moved in here. But some of the people were paying $600, $700 a month for a one-bedroom apartment. I mean, I was only paying $1,250 for a two-bedroom. There's only a couple two-bedrooms in here, but I wanted a bedroom for my daughters. So $1,250 is like a steal now in Gloucester. And that was basically, at the time, I was working in a cold storage facility. That was like the cap of what I could afford. I was the foreman, and I was on salary. And I could just barely afford the $1,250 with all my other expenses. And that job sucked, being on a salary. I'm so happy I started digging clams. I work for myself. It's stressful working for yourself, especially like doing something like digging clams, because if I don't dig, like today I'm not digging, so I don't get paid for today, you know what I mean? It's supposed to rain. I've dug like 6 tides in a row. I'm just tired, man. And it's supposed to rain and stuff, so I took today off, but my point is like, if I don't work, I don't get paid. And if I work and I don't get clams, I don't get paid. I don't get a paycheck just for putting in the time on the flats. I have to produce something in order to get paid. So that's stressful. Like thinking it's nature. It could be rain closures. There could be bacteria in the water closing. Red tide. There could be any man thing. You could run out of clams. Like we need a seeding in Gloucester. That's definitely. We need to have a seeding in the next couple of years. Like our summer flats are getting pretty beat up. All that's left are like these big giant clams that are like 3 feet deep. So if to continue, but the thing is though, is a lot of the diggers in Gloucester are getting older. They're like in their 60s. Some of the guys are pushing 70. So in the next 10, 15 years, there's only gonna be a few of us digging because there's not many younger guys. And I'm 40. I'm not even really young. There's only I don't know this kid Cody. I don't even know if he's 30 yet. But there's only a couple guys who are around like late 20s, 30. So, anyways, I'm just getting kind of off topic. My point was though, as I'm saying is, I have to work to get paid, and I have to dig like a good amount of clams to make a paycheck. But the freedom that comes along with that, to not work a job like I worked before as the foreman at a cold storage facility on salary. I was working 6 days a week. 12 hours a day. I mean, if you broke it down to an hourly rate, I was getting paid like $10 an hour. It sucked. They owned me. You know what I mean? Like I was there 6 days a week. When I was around my kids, I was like tired and grumpy and stuff, and I wasn't getting paid that well. I had all this stress. Like I'm getting shit from the guys underneath me, like the warehouse guys who I used to work with, and I took the supervisor job. I'd have to hear all their gripes. Then I'd have to hear like the managers above me, the general manager and the operation manager, them yelling at me if something wasn't going right. Basically, like I'd get blamed if anything went wrong. It was a shit job. My father so nicely told me that before I took it. He's like, "Oh, middle management sucks. You're gonna get it from both ends." I'm like, "Thanks, Pop." But so anyways, I'm very grateful that I started digging clams, because for a person like me, I don't need somebody to tell me to get up and work in the morning. You need to be very motivated. You need to have a real strong drive and a work ethic to be a clam digger, that's for sure. Because when you wake up and it's January and it's like friggin' 10 degrees out and the wind, you can hear you're laying in bed and you can hear the wind whipping outside. And, you don't want to go out there, especially when the price sucks too. So it's like you can't, it's not for everybody. But like I said, I've worked so many crappy jobs in my life, like working in factories, working in kitchens. I cooked forever. That's the worst. I love cooking, and I learned a lot of cool stuff, and I worked in some really nice restaurants and did some really neat stuff. But that being said, the majority of cooks end up, if they're still in the game in their 40s and 50s, they're like vicious alcoholics and they're miserable. It's just, I'm glad I got out of that. So I've worked almost any kind of job. I've done all types of, construction, masonry, landscape, and all, like any type of labor and manual labor job, like I've done it, So I'm grateful for clam digging. I'm grateful for that I can work for myself. All the money that I make is for me and my family. Like I'm not making some carpenter $65 an hour and then he's giving me 20 of it. When he's sitting in his truck eating cheeseburgers and shit. So I'm very grateful. It's ball-breaking work. It's the hardest job. Like I said, I've done all types of physical labor, and it's by far the hardest job I've ever done. Like digging alone is ball-breaking, back-breaking. Like, being in that position, bent over like that for 3-4 hours straight during a tide, it's unnatural. Like, the first couple tides you do it, your natural instinct is to go down on your knee because you're not used to be bent over like that, and it takes a while for your back to get used to it. You know what I mean? Once you do it for a while, your body gets loose to it. You know what I mean? And if I take a couple of days off, my body will tighten up, and then I go back out there and I can feel it on the flat. But if you dig regularly all the time, your body loosens up and you get used to it. But it is. So that alone, just digging is really rough on your body, and it's hard. Like digging all the way down, getting in there. Some of the sand flats, it's like digging into concrete. But then also, you gotta pull, if you don't have a boat, and I don't have like a little rowboat I bring to some flats, but I usually walk in and walk out unless somebody gives me a boat ride. So when you walk out, sometimes I got over 200 pounds. You gotta pull that manually through the mud. I've gotten myself into situations, if you can see film of it, it's, oh my god, falling in the mud, losing a boot one time, I lost a hip boot. My hip boot got stuck in the mud, and I pulled my foot out, and my foot came out of the boot, and I landed in the mud, fell in the mud, swearing. Oh, what a shit show. I wish people could see some of that stuff when I first started digging, the trials and tribulations, but I dedicated. I was like, I'm doing this. I'm not going back to working at a Maricold or Varian or some kitchen, getting shit on by people. I'm never... I remember last winter the weather was shitty and I wasn't getting paid. The price was way down in the garbage. And my mother was like, "You ready to get a real job again?" And I was like, "Never. I'm never." And first of all, a real job, like, I think that's like the majority of my problem is like I was doing jobs because of what it sounded like or to make other people happy. Like, okay, I'm a foreman I'm the supervisor, I'm a manager at Maricold. Like, it sounds good. Like, my mother can go tell her friends, like, oh, Jason's doing really good. He's a foreman at Maricold. Yeah, he's cleaned up his act. It sounds good, Mom, but the job sucked. You know what I mean? Being a clammer maybe doesn't sound good on paper. You know what I mean? People are like, oh, clam digger, it's like a bunch of dirty old, like... I mean, I'm sure people, when they think of clammers, they think of people who are probably uneducated, dirty, like, whatever. But I make more money than I've ever made in my entire life. I'll tell you, I'm not trying to brag or anything. I'm just saying, like, guys who are, like, have their head on straight and like, are financially responsible and stuff like that can do very well clamming. They're not just a bunch of ignorant, dumb people, you know what I mean? I have my GED. I didn't graduate high school, but I don't think I'm stupid or ignorant. I just didn't like school. I got in a lot of trouble and stuff when I was younger. But, no, and that reminds me, a shout out to Paulie Tanzo. It's Tanzo, right? Not Tanzo? I don't know, whatever. I don't want to missay your name. I don't mean to say, like, whatever about pronouncing your name right, but I just always mispronounce names. But anyways, I want to shout out to Paulie. He's been, just discovered my channel, and he's been commenting, like, on all my stuff, and trying to figure out, he's having issues with working his email, but he's trying to get me his number, and he wants to do a video with me, and he said, I kind of thought about this before, but it was his idea. He suggested it in the comments to go to different spots, like on the big video I had about the 1990s Mafia War, to go to the different spots where some of the things happened. And he said that I think he's pretty much willing, he agreed to it, I think. I got to talk to him on the phone and stuff and actually work the details out. But he seemed excited about going there with me and kind of like showing me the different spots and kind of being like a tour guide, and I don't know, I think that sounds cool. I've wanted to do that since I started doing the video, and even before I started doing the channel. Like, that was like a thing that I wanted to do, was go to the different spots in Boston and film it, like Whitey's Garage on Lancaster Street, like the house in South Boston that they found all the bodies in, different places in the North End, different places that used to be clubs and stuff like that the Mafia guys used to frequent, go to Revere Beach. I think that would be cool to like throw in like live things like that. You can see the places, because I know when I do the videos I put up the pictures so you can see the guys instead of just looking at this ugly mug the whole time just talking to you. I put up the pictures of the guys that I'm talking about, so I think it would be cool too though to actually go to live locations. And I got this really nice GoPro that I film myself clamming and stuff, but I can't get it on the laptop to edit it. So I'm going to get that straightened out. I don't care if I got to pay somebody to friggin' do it and show me how to do it. And so I can bring the GoPro to Boston and film this stuff, you know what I mean? So shout out to Paulie. You seem like a really good guy. Like, I'd seen you on the Bobby Luisi show. And I don't know what the whole situation was, what happened with him. That guy's kind of a clown. So I appreciate you reaching out to me. And I look forward to talking to you and working with you. So shout out Paulie. I don't know where I was going with that. I think I was talking about having a GED. Yeah, I caught myself back up on that. So you don't need to have a PhD or a master's degree to be intelligent. School's not for everybody. My parents used to shove it down my throat that I had to go to school, I had to go to college, and now my mother would be like, "Oh, parents should just tell their kids to go to trade school and become a plumber and make so much money." I just look at her. Like, clearly school is not for me. I never liked it. I was smart. I was smart, and I liked to read, and I always liked to learn, but I wanted to learn about stuff that I wanted to learn about. I didn't want to sit there and listen to shit that I wasn't interested in. That's the type of kid I was. Always, since the beginning. I'm still like that. If it's not something I'm interested in, I tune it right off, you know? So, school's not for everybody. So I definitely encourage kids and parents, if your kid's not into school, there's so many other avenues to take. Trade schools, like performing arts, culinary school, like there's so many other things that kids can excel at besides just your standard book learning in school, like the way it's set up, the structure of it. It's just a ridiculous thing, honestly, and it's all about money. These standardized testings and things like that. The educational system in this country is broke. You show kids a map, like they don't even know where anything is on a map. They don't know any actual helpful life stuff. Like they don't have any social home ec or life skills classes anymore where they teach kids how to like do basic house cleaning stuff, ironing, knitting. Like I know how to knit with a needle and a thread because I went to school in the 90s where they had home economics class, and the Miss Denham with their friggin' red high top Reebok sneakers. Oh my god, this poor lady, she caught so much shit. We used to torture this lady. But anyways, she was my home economics teacher, and so she taught us how to like sew with a thread and a needle, and I can use like a Singer sewing machine. So they don't teach kids this shit anymore. They don't. Like, it's tough, man. I got a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old. My 6-year-old's already just glued to electronics, and I don't know what to do. Like, the best thing I do is I set timers. So she has a certain amount of time on her electronic device, and then that's it. Once the timer goes off, no fighting, no crying. You gotta play, you gotta go outside, do something, you need to read a book, you need to play with actual toys or something, but you're not gonna sit there and stare at a screen, you know, all day long, nonstop. If you let a kid do that, they will. She'll sit there with her tablet and play Roblox or Minecraft till the time the sun comes up to the time the sun goes down, or sit there and watch YouTube. These kids will sit there like and watch YouTube of other kids playing video games and like talking silly while they're playing video games, or watch other kids when she was really little. She used to like to watch other little girls play with dolls. It's like it's so different now. It's so bizarre. Like, I don't know. If it was nice out when I was a kid, you were outside. My mom kicked me out every single day if it was nice out. If it was not raining or snowing or blowing a friggin' gale out, I got kicked out. And it was like that in my neighborhood. No parents would let you inside the house if it was nice out. They would friggin' lock the doors until it was lunch or dinner time. You weren't allowed back in. And then if it was rainy out, then we could go to someone's house and play Nintendo or Sega Genesis or something. But it was not allowed otherwise. We were outside playing street hockey, wiffle ball, football. That's all we did was play sports, pick up sports, like everything. Any game you could possibly think of. There was like a motel like behind a little patch of woods that we could cut through and then go to, and they had a tennis court out back. We'd climb over the thing and play tennis and stuff. We'd do whatever, man. And I don't know, kids just, I mean, I see kids outside sometimes and stuff, but it's just not like that. And it's also just the world's just different too. Like, I don't know if I'd feel comfortable, like, in 2 or 3 years, like, sending my daughter just, you can't come in, it's nice out, go out and play. Like, I'd be worried, like, oh, you know? I don't know, man. It's weird. It's weird. 'Cause on one hand, it's like, kids should be outside, should be playing at the same time as a parent. It's like, I don't know. I got girls too, though. I don't know. So it maybe it's different with boys. Like, if boys can be out. When I was a little kid, we were like half feral. Like, we'd be gone for a while. Like, we used to camp out in the woods and shit. We'd be out making forts in the woods. Overnights, you know what I mean? Like, we'd have to check in with our parents. And it was back then too, is your parents would, Jason, dinner! You know, there was this one family in my neighborhood, the Kurths, and their dad was like wicked. He was like a part-time minister. He reminded me of Ned Flanders from the Simpsons. He was always so, you know, but but they used to have a cowbell, and we'd be playing Manhunt or, you know, we'd play in some neighborhood game or whatever, and the ding 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 ding, the cowbell go off, and the kids would like robots. They'd be to stop and just like run home. wouldn't even say a word. I don't know. I wish to go back to those times, the 80s and the 90s, early 90s. Just, I'm so grateful that I got to grow up in that time period when things were so much simpler. And I cannot imagine what it's like to grow up as a kid today. All this information and shit that just bombarded with. Everywhere you look, it just. I mean, in my apartment, it's I got my laptop, I got my smart TV, I got my phone. I got both my kids have tablets. It's just there's just like electronics everywhere. If I go downstairs, so say like my younger daughter's mother's, I'm dropping the baby off. I'll be there in 20 minutes. I go downstairs. I'll leave my phone upstairs. If she's not there, and like I start being like, oh man, you like panic if you don't have your phone on you. It's like I lived the majority of my life without a cell phone, and we got along just fine without it. If you couldn't get in touch with someone right that second, they'd get back to you. If you called their house, they weren't home, you left a message with their mom or whoever was home, then you go walk down to the spot that you guys hung out at, because we would hang out at like the same spot all the time, so you'd know where to find people because you didn't have a cell phone. You go to the spot. If they weren't there, you'd hit up a couple different spots, you couldn't find them, then you just go home and you'd wait because eventually they're going to come home and they'll call you back. That's just the way it was. Things were just slower, I guess. Like there wasn't this instant gratification, like texting somebody like it's like, I don't know. That used to be the way things were, and I know people who were watching this who grew up in that time period, they understand what I'm saying. Like you and your friends had your spots, whether it was from like a convenience store down like a park by the benches or whatever, and you hang out there, and the cops would constantly be kicking you out and chasing you around, telling you, get out of here. It's not like that anymore. I don't know. It's a different world. It's obviously things change. They have to change. It's evolution. That's just the way things are. But I'm just one of those people. I just wish things would stay. I'm totally nostalgic. Like I wish things could just stay the way they were when I was a kid. I just feel like there was obviously a lot of shit wrong at that time period too. The late 80s and early 90s were like the most violent time period in our country's history. Crime was like out of control in every big city. Murder rates were through the roof. Like Boston, certainly it was. Like 1990, 1991 were the most violent years in Boston's history. Obviously crack had a big thing to do with it. Gangs spreading nationally. But I still look back at that time period like it was like a wholesome, because for me it was like I had a nice childhood. I can't lie. Like my parents are divorced and stuff like that. But when I was a little kid, my parents were still married, and my dad. Me and him would go on road trips all the time, drive up to Cooperstown, Hall of Fame. We used to drive down to South Carolina, and we hit up Civil War sites like Gettysburg and other things on the way. He used to bring me to all the Revolutionary. It's why I think I love history. Is my dad was a big history buff and would show me all these places, bring me all these places. And both my parents worked. We weren't poor, but we weren't rich, so that's what we did for trips and stuff. It was road trips. We'd just get in the car and go, and maybe stay at a motel overnight, or I don't know, nothing fancy or extravagant. But I appreciated that my parents made the effort to at least do that, because some kids in my neighborhood never got out of the neighborhood. Like their parents never took them anywhere, let alone just to go to those type of places. So I don't know, stuff happened later in life and stuff. People are people. Nobody's perfect. But like as a child, my early childhood, it was a nice, normal childhood. You know what I mean? I grew up on a dead end street with tons of kids. It was all like families. Like I said, we were always out in the street playing. There was like a gravel pit at the end of the road. We used to go down there and play manhunt and all types of shit like that. On snow days, everybody would come to our neighborhood, and we'd have big, giant like snow wars down the gravel pit. And then behind the gravel pit was this like big pond. We used to play ice hockey on in the winter. Cause, dude, that's another thing. The ponds always froze in the winter when I was a kid. The ponds do not freeze anymore. Like I want my girls to learn how to ice skate. And I've been taking them to the Gloucester High School Gloucester High School has a girls hockey team, and they're pretty good. And we went to like 4 or 5 of their games last winter, and it was a good time. My girls enjoyed it. Like even the baby she was so keyed in on it. She loves action. I don't know. I think she's gonna be like an athlete. My older daughter, I don't know. I don't think she's gonna be an athlete. She doesn't like active stuff that much. But anyways, I want them to learn how to skate. The ponds don't freeze anymore. So I'm not trying to say like whatever, but there's definitely something's different about the weather in our region than it used to be. It doesn't get as cold in the winter, or if you get a couple nights where it's like a deep freeze and it starts to get a skim on top of the pond, then you get a day where it's like 50 and it rains and it goes away. It's weird. It's not so much that it's just like warm all the time, like this whole global warming, like the earth is getting hotter at a crazy rate or whatever. It's not that it's just like warmer all the time. It's just that the weather is like just kind of crazy. It's like from one day to the next, there's nothing really consistent about it. But I don't know. I was gonna title this video the Massachusetts housing crisis. I don't know if I want to title that about it anymore because I've been talking about a lot of different stuff. But I don't know. I started making the video because I was trying to record audio, and the people were just banging around and stuff, and it was just like, this is a joke, dude. Like, these people bought the building, they raised everyone's rent dramatically, and all they like just constantly working on stuff, and they work on weekends late at night. Last night I got my 2-year-old finally to sleep at like 10 minutes at 8, and they're out here just slamming doors, and I found out, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, just close the door, dude. It's 8 o'clock. First of all, why are you working at 8 o'clock at night? Second of all, why are you repeatedly slamming the door? I hate that, dude. I get my daughter to sleep, and I'm inside my apartment. There's no reason to be making that much noise out there. And these people like are trying to act like they're so high-end and stuff like that. I hope they don't see this video, but because the guy who bought the building, he shows up in a Maserati, dude. And I was like, you gotta raise my rent $400 a month so you can drive around in a Maserati? It's just like kind of a douchebag move, right? I don't know. So, but it is true. Like, Boston is behind New York City and San Francisco as the third most expensive place to live in the country. It's just been the past 10 years, and it's spread to the whole surrounding areas of Boston. I live 45 minutes north of Boston, in Gloucester, on the North Shore. And like I said, it's a beautiful place, but it's always been a beautiful place. But people used to think Gloucester was kind of like, it was beautiful, like the ocean and stuff, but the actual town people thought was, I guess, like, when I was a kid, it didn't have a great reputation. Like, first of all, the city, you get to the friggin' lights, dude, all you could smell is fish. Like, downtown Gloucester, when I was a kid, smelled so bad. Like, you're from here, you kind of nose blind to it. It's just how it was. But like, for people that came from out of town, it was, my grandpa used to always say, Manchester by the sea, Gloucester by the smell. You know, he's a good one. But it friggin' stunk, dude. And like, the people from Gloucester had kind of like a bad reputation because they're all fishermen and just kind of rough, you know what I mean? And it was like a tough city back then. Now it's just completely different. It's all gentrified and yuppified like everywhere else. You know, you go downtown, no dive bars. When I first turned 21, Gloucester was such a fun city to drink in. I don't drink anymore, but when I turned 21, it was still like a fun city to drink in. And it was just dive bar after dive bar after dive bar, and you can just get wasted, see so many freaking characters like straight out of Central Casting. But it ain't like that anymore. There's no dive bars left. There's Pratties on the fish pub, and that's like all young kids. It's like a nightclub now. I went in there and I was like, what the fuck? I just wanted to play a game of pool. So I don't know, it's just different. You got like Drift with like big wide open, like right where they have the Fiesta, so like people can sit there and have a drink and look down at the Fiesta. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's all the places that they've come here, Drift, Tono, Oak and Ember, like they're all wicked nice places. It's just not Gloucester anymore. It's different, you know. Like nobody's a working fisherman anymore. Like I'm technically a commercial fisherman. I'm a clam digger, but like every single 80% of the city of Gloucester, in some way, shape, or form, worked in the fishing industry. Whether they actually worked on a fishing boat, they worked in one of the fish processing plants, they worked on boats as like mechanics or engineers, they worked on the waterfront as a longshoreman or a stevedore. Everybody in this city somehow, way or another, worked in the fishing industry, you know, and it's not like that anymore. It's just not. I mean, there's still Gorton's, which is Gloucester's biggest employer. They are, they employ more people in the city of Gloucester than anywhere else besides probably Varian, which is now called Applied Materials. I used to work up there. That's a semiconductor. It's like this factory, and they have these big giant machines that make these tiny little computer chips. Semiconductors is what they're called. There's little silicone wafers, and companies like Panasonic and Toshiba and Sony buy them. It's big business now. People see, I see it in the news how we're trying to compete with Taiwan is the biggest producer of these chips in the whole world, and that's the whole thing. Is people are afraid that China's going to invade Taiwan and take over all their microprocessing plants, semiconductor plants, and then we'll be done because we've already given them all the manufacturing and production jobs in the world. So they produce everything. So now if they control the semiconductors too, dude, I'm not going to get into politics, but people who think Obama was this great guy and stuff like that, he completely sold all of our manufacturing and production over to the Chinese. And now obviously it's very clear that they're not our ally. I don't want to get into politics. I just want you guys to know that I'm not just a dumb clam digger, and I know stuff besides organized crime, but that's all people seem to want to watch videos about. So I'll still talk about other stuff. So also, the last video I did about Big Al Bruno, it got demonetized by YouTube. And pain in the ass. I mean, not that it really was going to make much money off it. It's got like almost 2,000 views. You get, that's like the equivalent of like $6 or $7 or something. But still, it's like, what? It's the same as the last couple of videos I did before. There's no difference in the subject matter. I thought it was the intro music and the gunshot at the beginning that was demonetizing it, so I stopped doing that, and my last couple of videos were monetized. It just sucks when you put all that effort into something, and it's demonetized, and you don't even know why it was, Well, that's just annoying. So if you're watching this and you have any, why that is. I think there's a certain time frame in the beginning of the video where it's like you can't say certain stuff, and then past that time frame, they don't really look as hard. I've heard that from other YouTubers, so if you know that for a fact, please comment and let me know, because that would be very helpful, because I don't know why I was demonetized. It's aggravating. And I started to make a video today on Anthony Ariellotta, and it's like, I don't know if I really even want to make the third video about Springfield, because all I'm going to really do is talk shit about Anthony Ariellotta and make him look bad, and I'll probably just get upset about that. I don't really need any smoke from people, and I don't know. I've been like on the Springfield topic for weeks now. I kind of want to just like move on and do other stuff. So let me know what you think. I definitely need some ideas for my next topic. I have ideas of what I want to do, and I definitely want to get in touch with Paulie and do the video of us walking around in like East Boston and stuff. And you can show me some spots, from the 90s mob war. And I have been really dragging my feet about doing like interviews and trying to move like forward to this channel and expand and do bigger stuff. Like I have like fear of that kind of stuff, about taking chances and rejection and failure and stuff like that. So it's like I haven't reached out to this kid who I know has really nice production stuff and cameras, and if I'm gonna do a video, an interview. I don't want to do an interview on a webcam on my laptop talking to somebody else. Poor quality, especially if it's like an interview with somebody who's never done an interview, or it's like a big name and could potentially get like hundreds of thousands of views and stuff. I want to do it like right. I want to do it in almost like a studio setting where I'm sitting there in person with somebody, and somebody with a like nice camera with really good audio and video quality is gonna film it. So I need to go forward with that. And I haven't asked the guy about the studio space either. I don't know. That's tough, man. Like, to really succeed in YouTube, to get beyond, like to get big, you have to really devote all your time, energy, and resources. It's got to be a full-time thing. And I just can't do that right now. You know what I mean? I got 2 little kids. I got so much financial like overhead. I need to make like a certain amount of money every week to make it, and that's stressful. So for me to like not go and dig clams almost every day to keep up with that and just put all my time and energy, you got to invest some money too into this stuff. You got to pay some people to do stuff. You like do production and edit and stuff like that. So I mean, that's what, if I wanted to make this like a full-time thing and actually make it like a business and make money off it, besides like, you know, $4 or $5 a video, like I would have to do that, and I can't, dude, like I can't. I mean, I believe in myself. I believe that if I went for it and really did it, like I could be successful, but the stress of it, it's not worth it. I got 2 little kids. I want to enjoy my time with them. I'm enjoying my life right now. Like, I haven't always enjoyed my life. My life has been shitty for the majority of my adult life has not been a good time, and it's mostly because of choices I've made, bad choices, bad decisions, and that's another thing. Like, life is all about choices and decisions, and that's the majority of the conversation I had with Michael Romano Sr., and he's really the guy I want to interview because I don't think he's ever done an interview, and the guy's just incredible, and just, I don't know, the phone conversation I had with him, I was just, you know, I was very impressed with him. So, but we talked about choices and decisions, and that one really hit me in the stomach, hit me hard, and like I was kind of like emotional when I made the apology video to the Romano family, because it's like, dude, his son Mikey Jr. was just a kid, dude. He was 19. He like made poor choice with who he was hanging around with Enrico Ponzo. He made poor choices to get involved in that kind of stuff. And he paid with his life. Like, dude, what teenage kid doesn't make bad choices? I'm so lucky that I'm alive. I've made so many bad choices, and just by the grace of God, and, you know, loved ones praying for me. I don't know why, but I'm still here and I'm okay. You know, like I should be dead many times over, and I've lost the majority of my friends that I grew up with are not here anymore. You know, I've lost like a lot of people that I love, and when I was talking to Mike Sr., it was like it got me like emotional because, dude, like I could have been Mikey Jr. Like anybody, any of me and my friends, I could just put anybody in that position. Like, you just choose the wrong people, you hang out with the wrong crowd, you get involved in stuff you shouldn't be getting involved with, and it's like heavy, and you don't even know what you're doing, and then boom, like your life is gone at 19. It hasn't even begun, dude. You know, so yeah, it's like heavy stuff, dude, and like that's why I want to do the interview with him and like work with him in some capacity, and because ultimately, like, I like doing the mob videos, and I enjoy doing it, and I like that people like it, but I'd like to do, like, if I can do stuff that would be, like, to help people and to be, like, positive and productive and stuff like that, and, like, especially, I've always wanted to kind of help, like, kids, you know, young guys who are like kind of in trouble and maybe in the DYS system and stuff like that, because I was real mixed up when I was a teenager, and I went to jail at 18, and I was in jail 18, 19, 20, you know, and it's just it just sucks. It's real hard to come back from that kind of stuff, you know, and these kids get institutionalized at like a real early age, and they get broken, you know, and they can't come back from it. They get just in and out of jail their whole life, or they become addicted to drugs, or, you know, they got untreated mental illness, or whatever the case is, severe PTSD from shit that happened to them as kids, and it just sucks, dude. Like, some of these kids never have a fucking chance, and they're just like throwaways, and I don't know. So like, I would like to do something with Mike Sr. and have like maybe an interview and just kind of like talk about stuff that's not just mob stuff. I obviously would love to hear his point of view on stuff that happened in the Mob War, and like, you know, his role in it and stuff like that. But I'd like to like do some stuff that could be helpful and like, you know, affect people in a positive way. Like, I have like a lot of life experience from stuff that's happened to me, and like I feel like it could be used to be helpful in a positive way. I could take negative things that have happened to me and that I have that I've experienced, and use it in a productive way and to help people, especially young kids who really. It sucks to see kids suffer, and it's dude, it's nothing that they did. I don't know. A lot of kids, like they grow up without any parents, like in the system, like their whole life. Like I was lucky that I grew up in a house that had 2 parents. You know what I mean? Like I said, my parents got divorced and stuff like that, and I lived with my mom, but when I was like a little kid, I had both my parents there, and like I never got like abused and cigarettes put out on me, and just, like some of the stuff that it's disgusting. Like why? Like what? Like how do people do some of the stuff they do? Well, I don't know why this video is taking this turn, but but it's just, I don't know. I'm just talking. I would like to make videos like this once in a while where I just talk about stuff, because I know that there is a lot of people out there, and it's sure just in my my core viewers that like have experienced stuff or like going through stuff, and they just like, there's no reason to suffer about stuff if you don't have to. You know, like I told you before in videos that I've made, like it's the favorite part of me doing this experience, this YouTube, is the interaction I have with people, and I feel like I'm building a relationship with people. Some people I haven't even met just from commenting. It's like some of the guys who watch my videos, I literally talk to on a daily basis, like every day. It's like I feel like we're almost like friends now, you know. And so I don't know. When I started doing these videos, I was feeling very disconnected, and I started doing the videos to kind of have a hobby and feel like a void, and you know, without getting like too personal, it's like my older daughter and her mother needed to come stay with me for a little while. Like my older daughter's mom found herself in a kind of a situation, and like I used to live with them until my daughter was almost 3, and the two of us would just fight, couldn't get along, and I decided to move out, and it was the toughest decision I ever made to not live with my daughter 24/7 and be there with her all the time. But like I couldn't. She was like breaking up us, fighting. Mom, stop! Dad, stop! You know, she's a little girl. It's just, it was wrong. So I made a tough choice, and I moved out. And they got into like a tough situation, so they had to stay with me for a little while. It's only supposed to be a month, and it ended up being like over 5 months. And I got really used to having my daughter with me every single day, taking her to the bus stop, helping her with her homework, packing her lunch. I really missed it. Like I love that girl. I love both my daughters, but like that was my first daughter, and it's just like we have like this bond, you know. And it was so hard, you know, moving out and then only like having her on the weekends and stuff, and like, you know, and seeing her, you know, just not being with her every day, every night, you know. So I started to get used to that again, and then they moved on to the place they were going to, which was originally the idea the whole time. They weren't supposed to live with me full time. It was just they needed to stay here for a little bit. So, but being here for almost 6 months, I got really used to it, and it was really hard for me when they moved out. I missed my daughter like a lot, and I got really twisted up in my head, and I started falling backwards into bad stuff that I used to do before, and I got myself into this big jam, and once I start, I don't know, my life can go from good to bad so quickly. Like if I make the wrong choice, my life turns into shit like almost instantly. So I need to be like really cognizant of that, conscious of that, and that's why I stress like make good choices, make good decisions, because it's so important. If you make a bad choice and do something that if I do something I have no business doing, and I know I shouldn't be doing, and I do it, it's like, oh, bad stuff happens, and it happens fast for me. So I was like in a kind of like a real hole, and I started making these videos. I had already previously bought a laptop and a GoPro, and it was all stuff just sitting in my closet. I hadn't even taken it out of the box, because that's I'm like that. Like I will buy stuff or go to do stuff, and then I won't even attempt it. So, you know, clamming sucked. I wasn't making any money. I just needed something to occupy myself and occupy my mind, and I couldn't figure out how to put the clamming footage from the GoPro. Initially, my YouTube was going to be just a clamming page. It was going to be, that's all really I wanted. That's all I was going to do first. Anytime I mentioned I was going to do mob stories, whatever, people were like, okay. My kid's mother was like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You know, and when I showed like the first video I did, she was like, "Oh my gosh," she was like so embarrassed for me. But then when people started watching it, and then like people started really watching it, and I started getting like thousands of views on my videos, she was like, "Oh my god, you picked the perfect genre." And I was like, but I don't know what to worry about. She doesn't watch this shit. She's not gonna see it. But anyways, that is initially why I started making these videos. And a couple of my viewers have told me to like be a little more personal and let people get to know me a little bit more, and to share a little bit more of my stuff, which is like hard for me. It's difficult to put stuff out there, because anybody can watch this video and they can rip me apart and make fun of me and stuff, and whatever, dude. If people do that, they're just kind of fucking pieces of shit anyway. So have at it. There's so much shit for people to make fun of me about or to rip about me. I've done so many stupid things in my life, made so many bad choices, but you know, I'm a human being. Like, nobody's perfect. No, even the people who look so polished and so perfect all the time when you see them, so well put together, they have little dark secrets in the back of their closet. They're just, some people better compartmentalizing. But I'm telling you, no one's perfect. And obviously I regret things that I've done, and I wish that I haven't done certain things I did, but I don't really give a shit. You know what I mean? I'm 40 years old, and I realize that people fuck up all the time. They do stuff that they wish they hadn't done and regret all the time. Everybody. There's not a person in the world. So, you know, if people want to make fun of me or bring stuff up about me that I've done or whatever, I really don't care. Because, like, I'm very much enjoying doing this YouTube. I'm very much enjoying the interaction I have with people and, like, the relationships that I've been forging. It's like, for me to have, like, a creative outlet for once in my entire life. I've never had, like, a creative outlet. I love to write and I love to make things. Like, I've always wanted to do, like, video productions or make movies or stuff. Like, when I was a little kid, I used to write scripts, and I used to have my dad borrow his video camera from work, and me and my friends would make, like, Batman movies and Indiana Jones movies and stuff like that. And I don't know, it's a very fulfilling. I had a friend told me a few years back, he said, listen, kid, he's like, you're doing good, but if all you do is work and spend time with your kids and you don't have anything that's just for yourself, it's like, it's not going to work out well for you. You're going to fail. Like, you got to have something that's just for you, that brings you happiness and fulfillment. Like, you gotta have a hobby, basically. Like, this is something that I was missing, and I've always wanted to do. And I knew that if I actually applied myself and started doing that, it wouldn't be half bad. And the responses that I've been getting from people, it's kind of like, damn, man, like, I should have started doing this stuff a long time ago, and I probably would have saved myself, like, a lot of problems. So I feel like that's a big part of my downfall. Is like, I don't know what to do with myself sometimes. Like, I'm like a workaholic. I have a crazy work ethic. I always have to be productive and be doing stuff. So if, like, I'm not working and I'm not hanging out with my kids and doing, like, family time, it's like I'm lost. So, like, when I was living by myself, and if I didn't have my kids, I'm by myself, bad situation, bad things would happen, you know? The old saying, like my father used to always tell me, idle time is the devil's time. And it's true. I hate to be corny, but it's true. If you're sitting around twiddling your thumbs, and if you're a person like me, you're going to find yourself getting into trouble. So I'm really grateful for the YouTube and for, like, the doors it's open, and just for like the kind of, like, spark it's lit inside of me to be creative and do creative things. And I hope not to stop at this. That's my point, is, like, about reaching out to the people who are more established and have good production stuff, and reaching out to people to do interviews and stuff that have shown interest in wanting to do things, and not being scared to take, like, that next step, and then just me sitting here on my laptop making these videos that I've been doing, because people like it and it's good, and I enjoy doing it. But, like, if I want to move on and step it up or go to the next level, there's certain things that I need to do, and I shouldn't be afraid to do that, because so far it's been proven to me, if I put effort into something and I give it my all, and I'm most likely to be successful. I'm not talking about becoming, like, rich and famous. I'm just saying that, like, I don't know, I really love doing this, and I want to continue to do it, whether it's just something that's, like, a hobby and brings me fulfillment and other people enjoy it, or if it's something that I can actually pursue and possibly not have to go dig 6-7 times a week and break my body, you know, and can use my mind a little bit more. And I love writing. People have actually asked me if I do any, like, original writing, and I do. Like, I have a lot of short stories that I've wrote. I have different scripts of things that I've started and kind of just pushed to the side. And, you know, I spend the majority of my time when I'm not working on the Clan Flats and I'm not with my kids. I spend time working on the scripts and stuff for these videos, but I don't know if maybe I should start doing, like, a little bit more of my, you know, kind of like creative writing, I guess, because maybe you guys would be interested in hearing some of that stuff. I could maybe do a video, kind of like a spoken word type thing, like an audio book where I could read like a story and put like visuals up with it. I don't know if that's something you guys would be interested in hearing. Just something short, like a couple minutes maybe. Let me know. I don't know. If not, because I'd probably be kind of embarrassed to do that. Because this is something that like I wrote that's not talking about like a person or an actual event that happened. Went down the wrong tube. Anyways, I hope people actually watch this video and will listen to me talk about stuff that's not just scripted mafia stuff. Because I have other stuff to talk about, and I feel like people could relate to it. Could be helpful to people. I'd like to do more of this kind of stuff, maybe a couple times a week, maybe do like a live video like I spoke about. Shout out to all my big viewers and supporters, guys. You guys are fucking awesome. You really are. Like, I don't get a lot of support in my day-to-day life. I'm kind of a loner. Like, I work out there in the flats. I have guys like I dig with and I'm friendly with and stuff, but for the most part, a lot of times I'm out there by myself, talking to the seagulls, talking to the clams. You know, I hang out with my kids a lot. I do things with their mothers. You know, we go do things as families. I'm real close to my mom. I got a couple friends that are still alive that I grew up with, that I talk to. We see each other once in a while, but for the most part, I'm just kind of a loner. So it's been really awesome, guys, and I appreciate your support. You guys keep me going. A lot of times I have moments of doubt and I think I suck and I don't want to keep doing it. I think I should just give up, stop embarrassing myself, and you guys will say nice things and give me the push to keep going. And Chucky O'Neill, you're my dude, man. I'm so glad that you watch my videos and you comment. Like, I want you to come up to Gloucester and I want to show you the town and take you out to the flats, catch some stripers, just show you the spots. Chris Danju, you've been watching the whole time. Like, I actually know you personally. You've been so supportive. You give me so many ideas. I'd love to have you like on sometime, just talk Boston Mob stuff with you because you know tons of stuff. Mike Gill, you've been watching. You comment on all my videos. I feel like me and you are very alike. You seem like a good dude. I'd like to meet you in person sometime. Just thank you. David Fishwick, this kid who comments like on all of my videos. A kid, if I had money and I was like had a successful channel and stuff like that, I would like hire this kid to do research because this kid's like, I feel like he's got like a computer brain. Any video I put out, he just like starts spitting out information about, is this person this did it? It's like the kid very intelligent. Mega bad boy Ryan Brown, always commenting, always supporting. Walt Lickers, who, by the way, I see here kind of like well-versed in MobTube stuff. When I was researching other MobTube channels, kind of seeing what they do and seeing how they work the channel and seeing how they monetize the stuff, I've seen you pop up in comments on other channels. So, but I appreciate that you watch my stuff. If you watch a lot of other stuff and you watch all my videos, that means a lot. That says something. Tim Bell, who's a Gloucester resident, comments on all my videos, very supportive. I appreciate you, Tim. Thank you very much. Carolas, I don't know how to say it. It's like a Roman soldier icon. You say incredibly nice things all the time. Comments, very supportive. Thank you so much. Ian Heslep, who I just shouted out in the video, always commenting. Dave G, I believe this is the initial Dave G. Thank you very much for your comments. I'm sorry, guys, if I'm leaving anybody out. There's so many people. Was it like Real Boston Oozing Machismo, which I love that name because I used to love the WWF when I was a little kid, raised Ramon. So, appreciate you too. I appreciate all my viewers, all my subscribers, anybody who takes the time to comment, to interact with me, to watch my videos that I take the time to record and put work into. I don't have like anything negative to say about this YouTube experience. There's, of course, people that say stupid shit all the time on my comments and try to crack on me. And dude, I got thick skin, okay? Like, I've been getting shit on like my whole life, okay? Like, I grew up in the 80s and 90s when you got like picked on and hazed. I used to play sports and shit. I used to play football and stuff. I've been hazed like relentlessly. So when people trying to make fun of the way I talk on the videos and stuff. It's like, dude, you gotta try hard, man. Try harder than that. But for the most part, it's been such a positive experience, and I love doing it, and I'm gonna continue doing it. And like I said, hopefully I will take steps to like make things better and production value and stuff like that. And because I think my content's just as good as anyone else's, if not better. I think the majority of Mob 2 guys, they just do videos like this with themselves talking in front of a camera. They don't take the time to write scripts or to put visuals up with the stuff they're talking about. I feel like I'm doing stuff that's different than them. I feel like I research people out of the water. I talk about stuff that there's no other videos about on YouTube. Listen, people ask me, like, oh, are you going to end up running out of material soon? I will never, ever run out of material from the mob genre. Just in Boston and New England alone, I could talk for the next 2 decades about people from there, not counting stories from other parts of the country or other countries or other genres or what. The well will never run dry. My mind is like it's always spinning. It's like the earth on its axis. It never stops. And the idea is, like my kid's mother is like, she thinks too that I should have started doing this a long time. You know how incessantly I've talked at her about this kind of stuff, for her just to be like, please shut up. But now I've found a core audience of people that are into the same stuff and like to listen about it. So, hopefully you guys aren't wanting me to shut up as well. So, I don't know. I appreciate you guys more than you can imagine. I'd like to meet some of you guys personally, talk to you, maybe have you on the show, just shoot the shit, maybe do like a live thing with a couple guys, and we'll just kind of just shoot the shit, tell stories, mob stories, whatever. I'd like to diversify. Like, I'm never going to stop doing the videos the way I do them with the scripts and the visuals, but I'm going to do more videos like this with me talking. You guys can get to know me more personally as a person, because I'm not going anywhere, and I hope to keep growing and to be actually around more. Because I don't know, I love this stuff. And the thing that YouTube does is it allows people to have a voice. I felt like I have an opinion on things. I have a lot of knowledge in my brain, but there's nowhere for me to voice it, because most of the people like I'm around, they don't want to hear me talk about it. So my computer's made noise. I thought it stopped recording. I was about to get mad. But that's another thing. I fixed my computer. The last video I tried to put out, I couldn't see myself as I was recording, and it was like I wouldn't have been able to do it again like that. It was too difficult. So I'm going to continue, obviously, to do the videos the way I was doing them. I'm going to do more live video stuff. Me and Paulie are hopefully going to go around to Boston and do the spots from the Mob War. I'll do more like live action stuff like that, going to Boston, showing you the actual spots of stories that I talk about. Once I get the GoPro hooked up on the computer, I'll put some like full-length clamming videos too, because a lot of guys like to watch my clamming shorts. And dude, I just want to show you guys the places I go on a daily basis to dig. Like, it is beautiful. Like, I've worked in factories, shitty kitchens, freezers. I've worked garbage jobs. Now I get to work like in fucking like paradise. And I just want to share some of the stuff with you and just show you like what I do on a daily basis and how I live my life. And clamming, it's cool, man. I think it's cool, and I know a lot of other people will think it's cool as well. And also, back in the day, I used to love those survival shows like Bear Grylls, Man vs. Wild, and the Survivor Man, the Canadian guy who actually would go out by himself and not with a TV crew. So I'm going to do like a Survivor Man challenge in Cape Ann. I'm going to set up different survival challenges in Cape Ann and videotape it. Like, I'm going to take a rowboat from the private side of Wingasheek Beach in Fawn Creek, and I'm going to row around the front side of Ipswich Bay and come out and come into the Annisquam River and hopefully not get swept out in the Atlantic Ocean. I'm going to row from there. I'm going to have like my kid's mother just drop me off at Fawn Creek with just like a backpack with some supplies in it, and then I'm going to take the rowboat that I've stashed in the dunes. I'm going to row out to the front side, out into the ocean, come in through the Annisquam River. I'm going to hopefully this is my plan. Is I'm gonna row in through this little hole in the wall where you have to go in as the tide's coming into Goose Cove, and it's sick. It's like you go bing, bing, bing like a ping pong through the like a pinball machine through the rocks. Go into Goose Cove, tie up my rowboat at my friend Youngie's. He's got like a little float out there. I'll tie it up there, and then I'll hike up into the woods, and I'll make like a little campsite and camp there overnight. And then I'll walk back to the rowboat, and I'll row back to Crown Creek and get picked up in the same spot. And I'll set up different challenges like this. I don't know. I love doing shit like that. I love the outdoors. Like I said, when I was a kid, dude, we were like feral kids. We were out in the woods all the time, making forts, camping out. As long as our parents like knew where we were, they didn't care. I mean, there's always been homeless people that's lived in the woods out here in the summertime, but year round now. Actually, that's part of like what I was talking about earlier with like the rents and stuff like that. There's like a friggin' legit giant hobo camp out in the woods behind the Black Bear Industrial Park where I bring my clams up to Monty's, up to Inishell. It's like a friggin' village out there, dude. It's like the Robin Hood village from Prince of Thieves. Like it's serious. And I had to take the train the other day. I had to go to Salem at like 6 in the morning. I took the 6:15 train, and I've never seen people sleeping, like, there was like 6 people sleeping out in like the bushes and the grass, like right by the Gloucester train station. I've never seen that before. So shit's out of control, man. Like, dude, they're raising the rents up to like $2,500 for a 1-bedroom apartment. They've gone from $800 to $2,500. That's a 300%. Like, I don't know if it's, I can't figure out the math, the percentage, but it's 3 times, like 2,400 is 8 times 3. So like it's tripled in rent in the past between 10 and 15 years. It hasn't even been really 15 years. So like if you don't have housing and you don't make over $100,000 a year, then you're fucked. I don't have housing. Everybody in my building has housing, and like these people are trying to act like they're super like upscale and stuff. Like, ooh, like these are luxury seafront, luxury apartments and stuff like that. But every single person that like lives here besides me is on housing. So like I told my landlord, I'm like, listen, I know you had to raise the rent because my old landlady had the rent extremely low, but like I actually pay my rent, so don't keep raising it. Like you raised it $400. Let's just leave it at that. You're making enough money off of everybody else. That why they keep raising the housing cap? Like, who is getting paid off of this shit? What politicians are getting their palms greased? Because like they keep raising the housing cap, raising the housing cap, raising the housing cap for these housing vouchers, and that's why the landlord's like, fuck, the housing voucher will pay for it. Fuck it, apartment $2,600 now because they'll get paid. And I'm not shitting on anybody that has housing. Like I wish I had housing. Like I'm literally, when I'm done with this video, I'm gonna call action and get my name on the list. So like, but it's just wrong. And somebody has to be getting paid for it, because why are they just making the housing cap so high? The landlords know they're going to get paid from the vouchers. It's guaranteed money, so they're going to raise the rent up to the cap. The landlords are all found out about this now. They all talk to each other. They're all, on some chat somewhere, like, how can we fucking cheat these people out of the most money possible? So it's like, who's behind this shit, dude? It's wrong. It's wrong. For people like me that bust my ass and work, and like I've been used to paying around $1,000 a month for rent. Like, that's a lot of money. Most people don't make more than $1,000 a week. If your rent is more than like a week's paycheck or a 2 weeks paycheck, you're kind of fucked. How are you gonna fit in all your other expenses? I budget. How are you gonna fit in all your other expenses? Like I have a very extremely costly lifestyle. I have 2 children with 2 different women, and it sucks. Like I don't pay child support through the courts and stuff. I just work something out with both my daughter's mothers, but it's a lot of money. You know what I mean? And my friends who don't have kids, like it's, I wouldn't trade being a father for anything, because my life has such purpose and meaning. I was completely lost before I had my children. But the housing situation is so messed up. It's so wrong. These people, it's just unbridled greed. They don't need to be charging $2,600 for a little 1-bedroom apartment that less than 10 years ago was like $800. Yeah, I live on the ocean in Gloucester. It's beautiful. Right now, as I'm talking to you, I'm looking at the ocean. That's awesome. So yeah, I don't mind paying. I don't mind paying what I'm paying now. They raised my rent $400. I told them I understand. You had to do that. Don't do it every year. I'm a tenant at will now too. They didn't extend leases for anyone in the building, so I'm a tenant at will. So don't just. There's no need. That you can say, drugs, mental illness, da 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 da. The main problem in this country right now is greed. Nobody is satisfied with what they have. Everybody thinks they need more than what they actually need. If everybody just took what they needed and left the rest, there'd be more than enough for every single person in this country. We have such an abundance of everything. There's no reason that people should go without. It's a travesty. It's a shame. People the culture in this country now it's I don't know even what it is. We don't even have a culture anymore. Maybe when I was a kid, it was kind of bullshit. We're all America, patriots. We thought we were the best, and there was a lot of stuff that was going on that wasn't really right, and it wasn't perfect. But at least there was some unity in our country back then. We were Americans. You know what I mean? My grandparents' generation, grew up in the Depression and fought in World War II and stuff. There was a lot of solidarity in the country back then. Was there racism and social inequality and class inequality, financial, the class system and stuff like that? Yeah, absolutely. But at least there was when the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, everybody very much felt the same way. We were you don't mess with Americans. Americans got killed, and now we're pissed. I don't know. I just feel everybody in this country just fights with each other and thinks about what they have different with one another instead of nobody looks at what they have in common with another person anymore. It's always what's different about them? What about them is different that I can find out that I don't like about them? And everybody's trying to can't. You say one wrong thing and you're gonna get canceled. Get the fuck out of here. That is the most obscene, ridiculous shit in my entire life, dude. You say something wrong once, and they're gonna fucking end your life, end your livelihood. What are we What are we coming to? Oh my god! It's scary for me to think what this country's gonna be when my kids get older if we keep going the way we're going. I don't know. But this is by far the longest I've ever done for a video and talked, and it's kind of nice. This is just stuff that I think about on a daily basis that I would conversate with people if I was having a cup of coffee. This is kind of what this is like. I'm just having, I already had my cup of coffee this morning. 2 cups in the morning every morning, usually at least 1 in the afternoon too, in case you're wondering. Shout out to Cafe Cecilia. I want to do an interview in that place. That would be cool. It's down the west end of Gloucester. It's my favorite spot. I go there 2-3 times a week to get cookies and pastries and coffee and stuff. They have awesome espresso and cappuccino. Shout out to Cafe Cecilia. I want them to be my first sponsor. I don't want any money. I just want free cookies. They make they call them butter balls, but the Greek name is kumbayidis. My yaya, my grandmother used to make them all the time. Usually if you go to Mike's Pastry or Modern Pastry in the North End, most Italian bakeries call them Greek cookies, but they make them so good down at the Cafe Cecilia. They make them almost just my yaya used to make them. But anyways, I think I'm going to start doing regular videos like this and just let you guys get to know me a little bit better, because I feel I'm developing relationships with a lot of my viewers, and just talk about things that aren't just mob stuff, just life stuff that I'm sure the vast majority of you can relate to and understand, and probably feel the same way, and hit up those comments and tell me what you think and what you agree with, what you don't disagree with, what you think I should do. Request topics for future videos if you like the ideas of me doing the live videos too, walking around Boston, showing the different spots. I think that would be really cool. There's not really much of that around. And still do obviously my videos where I'm narrating with the pictures and stuff, my old style of stuff that I've always done, and not really that many people do that. Almost everybody just sits there and talks in front of a camera, which I'm not shitting on people, but it doesn't take the same amount of effort to do that. I just did this video and that's that, and I can upload it and people can watch it. I didn't have to write a script or edit it or nothing. So again, I'm not shitting on people for doing it, but what I do is different. But I'm gonna continue to do videos like this because I don't know, it's nice. I don't really get a chance to talk and tell people like what my personal thoughts and feelings on stuff, and I feel like people that subscribe to me and view my videos and stuff and like my point of view on things would like to hear what I have to say about certain things, and you can chime in too. I'd love to hear you. I'd love to just have conversations with people like that like to talk about certain like-minded topics and whatnot. So anyways, guys, and the one or two women that might watch my shows, have a great day. I am not digging today. The sky's like black out there. I don't care. I'll dig in the rain, but I've done like 6 times in a row, and I'm just tired. I'm 40, dude. I gashed my finger real good on a razor clam yesterday. I don't know if you guys saw that short. The blood was like dripping into the water. The fucking thing got me good, dude. Just the very top of the razor clam was sticking out of the sand, and I didn't see it. And I came down with the fork, and I went boom right into it. It hurt. So I'm not digging today. I don't know what the rain is going to be. If it's an inch of rain, then I'll be closed on the Annisquam for the next 3 days, and you'll definitely see some videos popping up from me. I don't know what I want my next like narrated like gangster profile video to be. I got a couple topics. It'll probably, I don't know if I want to bog myself down with like a real big project right now, or if I just want to pump out a couple. Who knows, dude? My mind changes like the weather. But anyways, guys, have a great day. Thank you so much for your support, your comments, your likes, your subscriptions. I don't really have anything much else to say besides the over an hour of me talking before. Let me know if there's more things that you want to hear me talk about. You want to do videos. Again, shout out to Paulie Tanzo. Thanks for your comments, and I look forward to meeting up with you, man, walking on Boston and doing some videos. Shout out to the Romano family. Shout out to Gigi Portala. I'm going to write him a letter today. I found out there's information to write him a letter because these people who tell me they're going to get me in contact with him just don't email me, so I'm just going to take it into my own hands and contact him because I'd love to interview him when he gets out. I know he's probably got bigger aspirations than doing an interview with me. He probably wants to do like DJ Flat, and I think he has like aspirations to. I mean, rightly so. The guy just did freaking over 20 years in prison. You want something for his time he put in. So best wishes to him. I hope to talk to him in the future. Best wishes to everybody. Positive vibrations I send out to my friends and family and anyone in the world. I don't wish nothing bad on anybody, because life is a hard journey. It's a hard trip, man. Like, you're gonna have plenty of stuff that comes up, obstacles that you're gonna overpass, and I have such a hard time when I know I'm about to stop the video, press the end recording time to try to like make myself sound like good, put some sort of good twist on something. This is always where I fuck up the videos. So, goodbye.